All set?
Good evening. This is a public hearing of the Board of Education, Clark Public Schools, adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231, and that a special notice was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to return to public? Ms. Akalanis, followed by Mr. Reedy. Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Here.
Mr. Becervinga?
Here.
Mr. Bohm?
Here.
Mr. Breedy?
Here.
Ms. Guerrero? Ms. Harrison?
Here.
Ms. Hickman?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mrs. Morrow?
Here.
And Mr. Dunkersloot.
Here.
Having 9 board members, we have a quorum.
Thank you. If we can just rise for the pledge.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, so at this time, we will be passing it to you.
Mr. Dunkersloot. Good evening. Welcome to the budget presentation for 23-24. Our distinguished board members, Mr. Dunkersloot, President, Mr. Lewis, Vice President, Lorraine Akalonis, Dino Becervinga, Scott Bohm, Robert Breedy, Megan Harrison, Kristen Hickman, Mr. Smurl, and the Garwood Rep, Christine Guerrero. The budget presentation will be done between myself, Mr. Grande, and Mr. Grande.
Just a reminder of our district mission statement that guides us in what we do every day. The Clark Township Public Schools will, in an active and responsible partnership with the community, provide a quality education that ensures all students achieve the New Jersey student learning standards at all grade levels. Through a nurturing, relevant learning environment, we will assist in the development of productive, respectful, and accountable citizens who are lifelong learners. Before Mr. Vizzuzo gets into his budget and number slides, we're just going to give a brief overview of some educational initiatives throughout the district that we're proud of. Full-day kindergarten has been in place since like 2009 now. That's something that we shouldn't take for granted because so many of our neighboring districts aren't able to offer that program to their young learners, or they offer it on a lottery basis. So the fact that we're able to offer that consistently for all of our students is something that we're proud of and will continue to fund each year in the budget. On the other end of the spectrum are juniors and seniors, and even in some cases sophomores, who receive a score of a 3 or higher on their AP exams, or in a dual enrollment course, a college course at ALJ offered for credit both at ALJ and the college. Any costs in excess of $250 with a grade of B or higher will get reimbursed. We will continue to aim for class sizes at 20 to 25 students to maximize our learning potential. And we have a strong commitment to professional development, both sending our teachers and our administrators out of district and bringing consultants into district to help our teachers and staff members grow. Curriculum revisions have been budgeted for and are approved this evening on the board agenda in terms of the writers. We're thrilled to have no staff reductions in this budget. In terms of technology, we're going to continue to supplement our one-to-one student Chromebook program with various instructional materials of an electronic nature. For example, there will be internet-based subscription learning sites at the elementary level, namely Seesaw and Raz Kids, and infrastructure upgrades across the schools so that the hardware is supported to do the work that we need it to do. Our students will be funded to attend the Union County Middle and High School Arts Program, where they can stay at Kumpf School and Arthur L. Johnson High School and learn from artists who are true professionals in their field. Each September, we kick off with a district staff team building exercise that's focused around our district goals and hopefully gets our staff motivated for the year ahead. Our juniors are able to take the Princeton Review, which is a premier SAT prep class at no cost to them or their parents, and money has been budgeted for the Linkit data warehousing platform so that we all throughout the district have a tool to make data analysis easier. Mr. Vizzuzo?
Thank you, Mr. Grande. So the school budget is composed of many funds. The general fund, Fund 10, 11, and 12, those are your basic funds that we use for the operating. Fund 13 and 18, that was used in the past for certain special projects. Special revenues, Fund 20, and that's where we get our grants, money, our ARP, ESSER funds, your ESSA, and also your IDEA funds. Capital Projects, Fund 30, that's if the district had a referendum, that's where we charge. It would be Fund 30, and Debt Services, Fund 40, which we currently have. The revenue for next year is $43 million with the operating account. Local taxes, we are going up to the 2%, but we're not taking any other adjustments, so just a 2% in the budget, and you have those other categories, your tuition, state aid, et cetera. As you can see from the pie chart, the local taxes take up 79% of the revenue share. And total revenues, operating budget $43 million, special revenue $2.8, debt service $1.8. So total revenue for the school districts is $48,264,000. Appropriations, these are the key category for appropriations: instruction, special ed, out-of-district tuition, employee benefits, support, capital outlay for a total of $43,538,000, and that also matches the revenue of $43,538,462. Again, operating budget $43 million, special revenue $2.8, and debt service $1.8, and the $48,264,000 matches the revenue. And by state law, we have to present to the board a balanced budget, otherwise the board cannot accept it, and we cannot move it forward to the county or the state level. Fixed costs, salaries is 54% of the budget. The operating budget, employee benefits 16%, so total salary and benefits are 70%. You have out-of-district tuition, transportation, plant operations, security. Total fixed costs is 91%. What we call discretionary costs, but even with this, you can probably say some of this are fixed because we need supplies, we need books. So some of these you can probably fall into the fixed category, but we kind of separate that. 9% would be considered discretionary cost. Again, a pie chart showing salaries and benefits take up 70% of the entire pie chart, followed by tuition, transportation, plant, and other. And again, fixed cost, 91%. You can see that pretty much encompasses the whole pie. Pupils on roll. For next year, we're pretty much, as you can see from the chart, we're pretty much steady. We've been at 2,200 from 2021, 2022, 2,200, and we're projecting also almost 2,300 for the upcoming year. Out of district, 13 special ed, 13 placements. Sent to other districts, 0, and sent to other districts special ed, 10, for a total of 126. And receiving is 126 students coming from Garwood, which is all tuition-based. And here's a chart, the projected Garwood students for grade 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and share time for a total of 130. Our major outlay in next year's budget is $1.4 million. We have budget $750,000 to finish up our camera system. Right now, CUMF is completed, but we would like to complete the security system for the other 3 schools, including CPA. We are looking at a TCU for Henley, $150,000, and we have the field turf payments, 2 years of $583,000. Some of the share service we do with the Township of Clark is here. Also with the Union County Service Commission. We participate with a number of different co-op pricing to try to get the best pricing possible for the district. School tax. So based on Clark Township assessed value and the average home assessment, we are projecting no increase in the school tax for the 23-24 school year. So that's a good thing. Even though we're going up 2%, but based on the assessed value an average home assessment. There will be no increase in school tax. And lastly, we'd like to, on behalf of Mr. Grande and I, we'd like to thank the board for their support, all the supervisors and principals for their input into the budget. It always makes our life a little bit easier when we get the cooperation that's required. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
Mr. Vizzuzo, just on behalf of the board, thank you for your work and diligence on preparing the budget.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board for VA before we take a motion? All right, so
I was just going to say, I just want to thank Mr. Rizzuto as well. On behalf of the Finance Committee, thank you for all your efforts, and I know you're always focused on making sure that we're smart in terms of our spending, and you do a really good job keeping us balanced from that perspective, so thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Morrow.
and then formally, is there anybody in the audience that has any questions on the budget and budget only? Seeing none, girls, you sure? Okay. All right, so with that, can I get a motion on the school budget and tenant budget? Ms. Hickman, followed by Mr. Bencivenga. Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bohm?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mrs. Smorrow?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I believe we're now moving on to the approval of minutes. That was right? Okay, the approval of minutes. Can I get a motion? Ms. Hickman, followed by Ms. Akalonis. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bohm?
Abstain.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Abstain.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mrs. Smorrow?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open the floor to the public for agenda items only. So if there's anything on the agenda that would like to be discussed, now would be your time. Seeing none, we'll move to the next part of the meeting. It will be personnel items. Before I go to personnel, it's loud here. Before I go to personnel, I just want to take the time on behalf of the board to thank all of the teachers and staff during Teacher Appreciation Week. The hard work and the dedication that our teachers put in does not go unnoticed by the board, and we are proud to have you as educators in our district. So congratulations, and hopefully you have a good week and you get some good goodies from the school and everybody else. So thank you. Moving on to personnel items 1 through 15. A motion? Mr. Bencivenga, followed by Mr. Breedy. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bohm?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mrs. Smorrow?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Curriculum, we have item number 16. Can I get a motion? Ms. Akalonis, followed by Ms. Hickman. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bohm?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Smorrow?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And now on to policy, we have items number 17 and 18. Can I get a motion? Ms. Akalonis, followed by Mr. Bohm. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bohm?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mrs. Smorrow?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. On board governance, we have items 19 through 23. Are there any, can I get a motion? Mr. Smorrell, followed by Mr. Lewis. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bohm?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mrs. Smorrow?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then finance, we have items number 24 to 45. Can I get a motion? Mr. Smorrell, followed by Mr. Breedy. Any questions or comments on those items? Roll call, please.
Ms. Akalonis?
Yes.
Mr. Bencivenga?
Yes.
Mr. Bohm?
Yes.
Mr. Breedy?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Mrs. Smorrow?
Yes.
And Mr. Dunkersloot?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzuto. Hand it over to Mr. Grande. Report, Superintendent.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Donkersloot. Many thanks to Mr. Vizzuzo for this evening's budget preparation and presentation. Our Finance Committee, led by Mr. Smorrell, with Mr. Bowman and Mr. Bariti as members, are also to be thanked, along with the full board for their support and our administrators for their key input throughout the process. Those slides that were just discussed with the public are posted on the district website for our community to review as needed. On this evening's agenda are our reappointment lists for our certificated and non-certificated staff. And as Mr. Donkersloot said, with today being Teacher Appreciation Day, we're immensely thankful to our faculty and staff for all that they do for our students in our schools. As I already mentioned, our curriculum writers are on this evening's agenda for approval along with our summer reading lists. It's hard to believe with it being May 2nd, we're wrapping up the school year and looking forward to next year. And I know Mrs. Oliveira and Mr. Beltran are in the audience this evening, and they're both hard at work on their master schedules for their building. It already starts the process of kicking off for September now. We were fortunate to receive the School Climate Change Pilot Grant, and that money will go towards the Ready, Set, Go Teaching Climate Change to K-5 students training. I'd like to thank Mrs. Christine Broski for preparing that grant and Mrs. Hickman for all of her guidance in making us aware of the funding. And lastly, our Wellness Policy Annual School Progress Report is as follows. Our schools across the district are in compliance with the Wellness Policy Nutrient Standards for Meals and Other Foods, number 8505, and they have made progress towards attaining the policy goals. There are no recommended changes or an action plan for next school year's implementation of the policy. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Grande. At this time, I'll open it up to the report of the committees. Are there any? Ms. Akalonis?
Yes. On Saturday, April 15th, I was very happy to go to a competition being held here. Okay, being held here at Johnson. It was being sponsored by the Music Parents Association. And what this was a competition between several districts, which I'll name shortly, for competing with the colored guard and the percussion marching segments of their band. Districts that participated were South Plainfield, Brick Township, Central Regional, Metuchen, Toms River, and North Brunswick. Arthur L. Johnson students also performed, but they weren't allowed to compete because we were the host district, so we will participate in other competitions. And some of the winners were the Winter Star Group, the Winslow Township, Central Regional, Brick Township, and North Brunswick. So this is one of several competitions that go on with our marching band and color guards, and I was very proud that our district performed very nicely. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Akalonis. Are there any other report of the committees? Any unfinished or new business to be discussed? All right, at this point, I hand it over to Matthew.
Starting off at the high school at Arthur L. Johnson, ALJ NJSLA testing will take place May 4th, 5th, 8th, and the 9th for the freshmen. Grades 10, 11, and 12 will have a 2-hour delayed opening. There will be a PTA meeting May 9th at 7 p.m. On May 17th, the Holocaust and Genocide class will take a trip to New York City. Science National Honor Society induction will take place May 18th at 5 p.m. Spring Sports Awards is May 23rd at 6 p.m. On May 24th, the Marine Biology class will take a trip to Sandy Hook. Going on to the middle school are Carl H. Kumpf. The 6th grade orientation for current 5th grade students will take place for students and parents on May 4th at 6:30 p.m. 30 Kumpf students will represent Kumpf at the Clean Ocean Action Summit on May 18th. Kumpf will be sending visual and performing arts students to the Teen Arts Festival on May 17th. The Kumpf Band and Chorus will perform at Music in the Park at Six Flags on May 21st. Going on to Henley. Students at Henley are very busy outdoors right now. The garden club has cleaned and prepped the landscaping for Earth Day planting. Every student had an opportunity to help plant flowers around the front perimeter of the building. Cake Kids Club students are participating in a service project, creating letters and cards for the residents of the Complete Care facility. Grades 3, 4th, and 5th students are taking the NJSLA over the next few weeks. The Student Council is sponsoring a literacy event for the kindergarten through 2nd grade students, and that's all I have for my report.
Thank you, Matthew.
Speak.
Mr. Lewis?
Matt, I want to thank you for your service as being the Board of Education rep for the student body of our schools. On behalf of the Superintendent Board of Education, as talking with Mr. Grande, we'd like to make sure we give you a scholarship for serving on the behalf as you go on to college. So I just want you to know, we're very grateful, your diligence, articulation, and basically ALJ. So congratulations, Matt.
All right, so thank you, Mr. Lewis. Moving on is now we will open it up to the floor for hearing of the public for non-agenda items only. So now would be the time to step up, state your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes to state your case. Not all at once. Mr. Draghi, please come up, state your name, your address.
My name is William Draghi, 47 Post Road, Clark, New Jersey. The main points of the Federal Parents' Bill of Rights, H.R. 5, a federal bill put forth on March 24th, 2023, are: the parents must approve all books in the schools. Parents must approve curriculum, especially transgender education. Every Democrat voted against this bill, but it passed in the House of Representatives, but it failed in the Senate. If it passed, I wouldn't have to come here anymore. In a California school, an 11-year-old girl was transgendering without her parents' awareness. The youngster was told not to inform his or her parents. In Washington State is trying to legislate minors' transsexuality so that a minor can legally run away from home if the parents are against the transgendering of their child. William Whitman of Colorado, a biological boy and a transgender girl, 19 years old, was planning a mass shooting of his former middle school. He had bought guns and was making plans for whom his victims would be. This planning was a month before the Nashville shooting of March 29, 2023, by Audrey Hale, a biological girl and transgender boy, when she killed 6 people. Thank God, William Whitman's sister told the Colorado police, and he was arrested 2 days after the Nashville shooting. Mass shootings are very rare, and transgender people are only 2% of the population. For both of these evil actions to happen by transgender people in a 1-month period definitely points to a causal relationship between transgendering and mass shootings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Is there anybody else that would like to come up? Please state your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes. It's not 15. It's not 15, Ms. Baglier.
Kim Bagliari, 15 Sunset Drive. I have 4 6th grade middle schoolers. You want them all to state their names?
Please.
Go ahead.
Isabella Prokos. Madison Tartaretti.
Juliana Diaziz.
Erica Baglieri.
Okay. Who wants to speak first? Come on.
I'll go. Okay. So I'm a 6th grade student at CUMF, and I don't understand why that the CUMF students have to have 6 different lunches. And I think that it's kind of like weird. I don't know why, but I want like everyone like everyone wants their friends to be with them after a long day at school once you have one break, and not all friends have the same classes with each other. So a lot of students want to have the same classes, like same lunch periods with each other.
We're listening.
Okay. I'll start a little bit. Now that the school year's over, have any of you discussed with Mr. Delmonico if we're going to keep 6 lunches next year, or we're going to be like the rest of the schools in the district and maybe just do 3?
So, Mr. Gahn, I'm not stepping on toes, but I think I heard you even say that Ms. Alvera and Mr. Beltrame are working on their schedules right now, so, right? I don't want to steal your thunder, but, so that's in discussion right now, Ms. Bagliari.
All right, that's really why they want to speak. They want to speak. Go ahead, tell them what you want to say.
So what do you guys, tell us what you guys want to inform us about. What do you guys want? In a nice, like, go ahead.
I would like to have like the same lunch like all together. So like right now, like all the grades 6th, 7th, and 8th, there's like 2 different lunches, like split in half with the alphabet. We would just like to have like all together, like everyone all together, like the 6th grade together and the 7th and 8th grade together.
Okay.
What other schools in the district have one? Yeah. Why are we different? Why are we different than ALJ, which has 300 plus students at a lunch? Okay, speak. I'm always here speaking.
It's all right, guys, we're listening, so far,
They wanted to have,
your 3 minutes are going to run out soon.
they wanted me to bring 3 minutes. I brought 4.
So I heard you guys want to have a grade level lunch. That's what you guys are asking for. So the 6th graders all eat lunch at the same time. And for those in the public that don't understand, there's half that eat lunch and the other half are on a recess. So it's kind of a split schedule. And then you guys are proposing that each grade level have the same lunch, everybody together, right? You're not proposing the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all eat together. You're just proposing you eat with your grade level, right?
Have you discussed this with the middle school administration?
I spoke at the PTA meeting, and he told me was that the reason, and Mr. Grande knows, was for behavioral issues, for the incoming 5th graders, for behavioral issues, like for fights. Have you guys had a fight all year?
No.
It's May 2nd. There's not been, has ALJ had any fights? We have 350 students at each lunch at ALJ. The 4 years that I worked at ALJ, there was not one fight.
I think it's fair that we bring it back to Mr. Delmonico. He's not here to talk about it right now, and it'll be a topic of conversation, but we heard you guys, and we heard your concerns, and we can only go from there. Is that fair? All right, and don't be afraid to speak up.
I was just going to say, ladies, I'm very impressed, okay? I work in a middle school, and what you just did was not easy, and but it's really, really important for all of our young people to speak up, but specifically our young ladies who are often silenced in a lot of situations. So thank you for coming. I know this is probably not what you were thinking you were going to do on Monday night, but I appreciate, Tuesday, we're usually Monday, sorry. I won't go backwards. But I do appreciate you guys coming and sharing that with us. That's a big deal. And to be honest, we're up here for you guys, right? We want to make this the best place possible for you guys, and so we want to hear from you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. Is there anybody else that has anything they'd like to bring up? All right, so at that point, can I get a motion to adjourn? Mr. Breedy, Mr. Smorl, and then Ms. Akalonis. Everybody in favor? Thank you.